One time her dad said to her, he said, she was smoking, and he goes, you know, Kathy, that's gonna kill you. And she goes, that's all right, Dad, I'm not having that much fun anyway.
No, when he turned 80, he was saying, you know, the only person that I ever remember in our family that lived till 80 was an old aunt, and she just was almost like a skeleton and everything. She just so old, you know. And he goes, boy, and here I am 80. I go, yeah, well, you know, Dad, they say that only the good die young. Doesn't it get a little embarrassing after a while? I thought it was funny, but so I figured that's my secret to my longevity.
So now we're going to go back to Kathy and I on the telephone, and I come out and I say, honey, good news. Kathy's moving back to California, of Michigan, and she's going to live with us. What do you think? And not only that.
Wait a minute.
Cool. How tall should I be?
You need some more growth hormone.
Go ahead and throw it, ladies.
So anyway, I came out and told my husband that Kathy was moving back to Michigan and that I was going to fly out to California with her and help her. And at that point, I believe the plan was that we were both going to fly back together. But Kathy and Ford had a better idea. She did not want to move back to Michigan without a car.
Because for two reasons. One, I had a beloved dog. And I really did love this dog. He was a golden retriever. And I just loved him. I just couldn't see leaving him behind. And I thought once I get to Michigan, I want to have a car. And I knew, or I remembered, so I thought I knew, back when I was in Michigan, it was hard to find a clunker car because an older car would start being rusted out and it wouldn't be any good. Well, I didn't realize cars started developing a little bit better, and so cars didn't rust out quite that bad. So I had this brilliant idea that if I had a decent, an okay older car and then drove it out here, it would be great. The car I had a Beater at the time, but the body was all dented in, and actually I went to get gas one time and somebody goes, hey, somebody hit your car with a ball bat? Well, I want to tell you what I told him. So anyway,
I wouldn't go into where you
I
got the
won't.
car yet.
I won't.
I went
But that's why I wanted to get
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah, that's why she wanted to get a car. So I went to the church that I attend.
And I used to attend.
And she used to attend, and they love Kathy. And
Sorta.
Is that now or then?
well, they
Then
still
and
love her.
They love me.
They love her, but there was a falling out. I guess is the best thing.
Well,
you can
it's
say.
a rejection. I think when you don't, if you've gone to a church, you do become like a family, especially in some, congregation. When you decide, I don't want to come here anymore, I don't want to be a part of you anymore. Not that you say it in so many words, but that's what it is. And I think a lot of it too is they just think, oh no, now she's gonna run into a lot of trouble. But I showed them.
Yes, she did. They're wrong.
Yeah, I am myself.
So anyway, I went to the church and said that Kathy was moving back to Michigan. And it was a very, very small congregation, but a love offering was taken up, and they collected about $345 to put towards her trip to come back. And no strings attached, nothing, do with it whatever you need to do. And so I don't believe it was that night in the conversation that we decided that you were going to get the car. I think we talked night after that, making the plans. And Kathy then went ahead and got the car, and you might want to go ahead now and tell us about the car, all right?
Well, the person I was staying with at the time, well, my daughter and I both were staying with him at the time, he was into recycling and junk. So he oversaw like a junkyard thing, had a lot of cars. And in California, a lot of times cars go to junkyards because they can't pass the emissions. They have real high emission tests. So you get some pretty decent cars actually in the junkyard, and they either part them out, or a lot of people come from other states and get these cars. So I asked him, I says, because I think at this time he was getting a little bit burnt out with me being there too, and I what I was doing is he had a little boy 10 years old that came to live with him. So I was like babysitting and just keeping the house and stuff like that. And, but he didn't pay me anything. I could just live there. So I would work these little odd jobs and okay. So I'm just saying that because it's not like he was really that close to me or cared that much about me. And I think he was kind of happy, like, good. I was wondering how I was going to get rid of her. Because he knew that I was still doing little drugs on the side when I could get them. So he says, yeah, I'll get your car. So we got this car, and it was a Pontiac. Now, do you remember? Remember we were talking about kind of the model or the year, and we weren't really sure
It
what.
was a Bonneville, and it was a 1973, I believe, 72 or
Something like
73.
that.
And green.
And green.
Old green.
Old green.
Old green, and it was like an olive
Yeah.
type green. Pretty.
You like olive in your martini? Anyway, so I get this car, and actually I had driven it around a little bit. I mean, it
Very
ran.
little, I'm sure.
Well, I think that's what the problem was. Once it went a long way, it's like 10 miles. But I drove around a little bit. It sounded good, ran good, I thought. So I went down and we got a sticker. I got a sticker to put in the window. It's called Revive Junk because it had no plates or anything. Revive Junk. So
Legal? I mean, is that what they do out there?
well, you can get a car out of a junkyard, drive it to somewhere,
And license it.
and license it. So
Okay.
I told them I was taking it out of state, to, blah, blah, blah. And so they gave me a sticker that was Revive Junk. So,
And how far can you drive
so
on
was I.
Revive Junk?
Well, you can
car after my own heart.
You can drive from California to Michigan on Revive Junk, and she drove it for years after that.
On Revive Junk.
On Revive Junk.
No,
Not on the
didn't.
not on the plate, not on the plate, but she drove the Revive Junk.
Oh, yeah. I did have to get it plated. And really, when I went down to the Secretary of State, the guy almost acted like he was so excited because they probably get the same stuff over and over. And so he was all excited to try to see what I could do to license. Oh, Revive Junk. Oh, that's interesting. But anyway, so we got it licensed. I got it licensed, and everything was cool. So anyway,
So she.
so you find out you're going
Yeah.
to drive back, and
And-
you're flying back and driving back. Now
I'm
that didn't
gonna
go
drive-
over well, did it?
No, it didn't. But it was very important to me. I knew, and I didn't know why I knew, or it wasn't the impression that Kathy had of why she had to be back in Michigan. But I did know that if I didn't go out there and come back with her, she wouldn't come back. I had that feeling. I knew I had to go, and I really wanted to go. I wanted to do this. I wanted her back in Michigan, desperately. And everybody was against me going. My husband, he wasn't against me flying out there and flying back with her, but at this point he got very angry at the thought that I would drive back.
Two
from Cal-
women in a
car
car.
and not knowing the car, and I just wouldn't listen to him. And the people in the church were just beside themselves that we were going to do this. But,
Yeah.
that's what we were going to do, and there was no change in our mind. And so we went ahead with our plan. I took some bill money and the money from the church.
Case of emergency. Understatement.
Not that we expected any.
No. We figured it would take about how many days?
About 2 to 3 days.
Yeah,
3
and we
days
figured we were
maximum.
gonna drive pretty much nonstop. We might stop for a night or two, depending on
A
how
few
long it
hours, but we
took.
were going to take turns driving and sleep while the other one
Try
was
to save the
driving.
money, and yeah, I mean, it sounded like a good plan.
So I know that we don't have a lot of recollection of the day. I don't know why, but Kathy remembers that I had a very hard time getting to my flight, that I almost missed my flight, and I was just, and we remember being in the kitchen together after my flight. She doesn't remember picking me up.
I
and
know.
I don't
And
remember
she
her
doesn't
picking me
remember
up.
it either. Isn't that
But-
weird?
That is weird.
There's a beard in my kitchen.
Welcome to my state.
Another miracle. Aliens. Beamed her up, beamed her down. I don't know. But I was so, I mean, it was like I finally had like this hope, and I knew. And it wasn't even so much just a that I knew it was like a trek. I had to get to the promised land. If you can imagine, Michigan was my promised land. But I knew, and I didn't know why or anything. I just knew if I could just do this, things would be all right. So I knew I had to do it, and so I was really thrilled, because I knew I could do it, you know. And so I was really thrilled that good things were going to happen. So Jackie shows up.
And I'm excited. I am just
Oh, yeah.
geeked. My
Gonna
friend is coming back to Michigan, and we're on an adventure, and we're going to do this.
Thelma and Louise. I said, without the guns.
Could you see us with guns?
No,
Scary thought.
no. We could use some guns, I'll tell you now, in retrospect.
Yeah.
So it's nighttime, though, when we actually get on the road.
Because I said, we probably should hit the desert as it's getting dark. So we left like maybe 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. But yeah, we wanted to hit the desert when it was, before the
Well,
sun hit us.
My friends told me, way before I ever started out, that you don't get out of the car at night in California because
Not in
this-
California, in the desert.
in the
or what it's
desert.
called.
Because the snakes are out there and they're drawn to the heat of the road, and so and they're poisonous snakes. So we're driving down the road, singing, laughing, talking, having a good time. We're back together. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to Michigan. The car dies. Kathy pulls over, gets out of the car, opens the hood, and she's looking around, checking things out, trying to start it, Jackie.
Wiggling wires?
I'm trying
Yeah.
to start it, and won't start. And she says, Jackie, come out here and hold a flashlight.
Snakes!
Snakes! And I had
There's
on
no snakes out here, trust me.
I cannot get out of the car. Jackie, get out of the car. I am not joking, Jackie. You need to get out of the car. Kathy. If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't get out of the car and be bit by a snake. I didn't get bit by a snake. So that was the desert and the snake story. But
Yeah, and then it wasn't long, and we, realized it was car trouble. The first car trouble, first time it wouldn't stop like that was really before the desert, I think, because I think we were able to pull into a gas station or something. So I called Milt, because we were only maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes away or something. We weren't far when the first time it broke. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe the gas gauge is off or something, so we put gas in it, and that wasn't it and stuff. So I called Milt, Yeah, I don't know why, but, the car won't run and stuff. Oh, well, have a good trip. Great.
yeah, great.
That
That's
really
right.
Yeah. Bye. Good luck. So anyway, I knew that was not an option for him to come out and help us or do anything about it. Of course, it was probably, 10, 11 o'clock at night or something, I don't know. But anyway, so we went to a gas station, and then when he was looking around, he did find there was no filter in the fuel filter, and so he thought maybe that was probably it. And I don't know, I don't even know if there was an air thing. And I had asked Mel, kind of look it over. Well, obviously he didn't look it over at all. But anyway, so it just didn't have some of the little minor kind of things and stuff.
Some of them did missing
Yeah,
parts. Is that
yeah, a few, filters missing and air filters gone and, little things like that. So anyway, so we felt pretty good. Okay, let's go, and so we kept going all through the night. It just kept stopping. At some point, a policeman come along.
Well, but before that was,
boy,
Shanice,
see? Oh,
you do need to talk about the key.
Oh, yeah, but I thought that was a little later. Was that early on? I don't know.
Do
Well,
that
the
night.
key was one of those, how you can get a key without a nice, comfortable thing? Well, this one, of course, didn't have one of those kind of keys. So after a while, my thumb was getting so indented from,
Because,
so finally I ripped
if
up.
we would stop for a while,
Oh, yeah.
the
and
car
then it
would start up
again.
and we would go. And
We
we would
didn't know
go
if
for a
it's
very
heating up.
short time and then we would die. So we didn't get very far, for a long ways.
For like the whole trip.
Mostly.
So yeah, we just kept driving through the night. And at one time, a policeman did stop us because we were stopped at the side of the road, and he saw it was revived junk, and blah, 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 and okay, well, bye, you know, and then we just kept going. And first we started journaling all this, but my friend, in her frenzy of cleaning her house, somehow threw it out. Because we started,
Oh, yes.
because at this point we thought, what a trip. This was just the first day.
Night.
Night. We had no idea. Like, oh, this my plane, and then this, and then we, blah, blah. So we're start journaling everything that's going to happen. We're still thinking the car will be all right. So we're driving along and everything. So now it's like morning time, and we're kind of hitting some mountainous areas. And so I didn't think about the fact that if a car dies while traveling, you have no power steering or brakes. So now we're like going down
70 miles an hour. No
and
brakes.
plus, I think I would put it in neutral, thinking
Oh
we
yeah,
were
neutral, neutral.
saving gas, you know.
Oh yeah, right.
That's funny too, because I don't even remember if we screamed or if it was like white scream.
I
Like,
think
Silent scream on.
but no one was on the road, and
No.
we didn't lose control.
no, I didn't lose control. I couldn't steer. How could I lose control? Fortunately, it was all straight down. Oh, but man, I mean, it was building speed. I'm sure I wasn't looking at the speed, but it was quite fast.
And it was quite scary.
It was real scary. So I didn't do the neutral anymore for going down hills.
Haven't dawned on me.
But we're still doing pretty good.
We're geeked. We're still
Yeah,
happy.
we're still
going
geek.
back
We're
to
making
Michigan.
it.
Yeah.
It's tough, but the tough keep going.
The tough keep going, and
So now, are we on Wednesday now?
yep, we're on Wednesday.
Okay,
'cause that
because
was
we
Tuesday
left on
night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're on Wednesday.
Okay, so now we're Wednesday.
And we get to take the car finally to a repair shop. And I believe that the guy thought he had it fixed. We
Yeah, he thought there
had-
was air in the lines. He tried that. Things just still wasn't working. That was where we spent the most money. I will say that. Because we did the lines, and then he thought maybe it was fuel pump or
and
something.
he put on a new fuel pump.
Yeah, and I don't know, but
And
I mean,
at that point, they told us that all of our tires on our car were very bad.
well, first of all, none of them were the same.
There were two radials and two steel belted tires.
Yeah.
And they were like here, there, and everywhere.
And one was
had a
one
great
size,
big-
and the other was another size,
and they had
they're-
big bulges.
yeah, and the whole inside of one tire was like rotting. And we've been going.
But
No,
not to
no,
worry
we-
because we hadn't gone very far.
No, that's true.
Because I mean, we were still in California.
Yeah.
Farthest you got was when it was in neutral, huh?
Absolutely. We could have done that the whole trip. We would have saved us a lot of time.
Well, we didn't want to spend our money on.
Oh, we were all happy. Oh, yeah, we hardly ate anything.